Hey everybody, today we're talking about 5 ways to increase your income. And here's why this is super important. There's only so much that you can reduce your expenses. You still have to live in a house or some sort of shelter. You still have to eat. You still need certain things. And so you can only get that down so low. But our income has a much higher potential. So that's what we're going to talk about today is some ways to increase our income. The first way, Melissa, is Amway.
No, please no.
No, it's a do not. It's not a
thank you.
Do not get started in an MLM.
Okay.
So according to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, MLM profit rates are approximately
no. You know I want to guess this.
Get to guess.
Okay, wait.
Hold on. Hey, viewers, in the comments below,
yes, please.
What do you think the profit rates, the percent of profits are on average for an MLM?
Now, what do you mean the percentage? You need to define that for me more.
So based off of your revenue, how much money of your revenue, which would be total sales, is profit?
For one person?
On average, yeah.
Oh my gosh. It might be negative. Is that possible?
It is possible. It is definitely possible.
Okay.
And
but
I would
this number
say,
is not negative.
Yeah.
You can see I take this very seriously. I'm going to guess 2%.
0.4%. So let's say you make $100. You're not even making what is that? I can't even
that's like
do
a
math.
half a
Is it
penny?
4 pennies? Let's see.
Is it 4 pennies or a half a penny?
I don't know. The decimals. We're gonna run the numbers, folks. 100 times point 0.004. 40 cents. So for every $100, you're making 40 cents.
I don't know much, but that ain't good.
So let's pretend you did $1 million in sales and you make the average amount.
Might be like what, $40?
I don't know.
$400?
Times 0.004. $4,000.
$4,000.
You have to do $1 million in sales to get 4,000 if you hit the average. Now, here's the thing. 99.6 of participants lose money after expenses.
Not the way to go.
No. So if you want a 99% chance of losing money, then get involved in an MLM. They're exciting. I think the thing that attracts people to MLMs is starting a business is a great way to make money.
Yeah.
Starting a business is a great way to build an asset. An MLM is not the way to do it. Here's what I always say about MLMs. If you're okay with being a part of an MLM, start the MLM. Yeah. That's the way to make some money. Be at the top of that pyramid, not at the bottom of the pyramid. All right, so we're taking too much time on this. Number 1, do not get involved in an MLM. But number 2, this is the fastest way and the easiest way is to just get more work at your current job.
Yeah.
If you can get some overtime, if you can go from 30 hours to 40 hours, there's very little friction to that. You already know what you're doing. You already know the people there. You don't have to go interview anywhere else. You can just get another job. So this is number 2. I love this. It's the fastest. It's the least sexy, it's the least exciting.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
How would you go about doing this if you're at a job and you want to get some overtime?
Yeah. I would just approach my boss and be like, hey, I'm looking at making some extra money. I have some goals for my family, for my life. Is it possible for me to work some overtime? Are there extra hours? Is there any way for me to work some more? That's going to be a real easy. It's not like you're going and asking for a raise, which we're going to get to later. And that's something that you can and should do. But for this, we're just purely saying like, can I have more work? Mm-hmm. And at most places, there's typically going to be ways or creative ways, or they'll say no. And then you just move on to the next step. Yeah. Right. So that's a real easy one. Number 3 is working towards getting a raise at your current job. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on this, but Ramit Sethi, he has a couple of really good videos on the process of going through and getting a raise. And so I'd recommend you check that out. I'll link that below. And really, I think one of the biggest places you want to start is you don't want to go to your boss and say, hey, I'm looking to get a raise. How do I get a raise? Give me more money. It's to say, how can I bring more value to our team and to our company? And what would that look like? And if I'm able to do that, what could that mean for my position and my compensation? You're trying to provide value. And so that's what we want to come to them with the point of like, hey, I want to provide more value to the company. And let's say that you can't get more hours. They say, screw you, you're not getting a raise. Then you can move on to number 4, where you get a new job where you make more money. There are stats around this that if you change jobs more frequently, you move to more jobs, you make more money. Like every job change, it's like a 5 or 10%. It's somewhere in there increase. So if you stay at the same job for 10 or 20 years, most likely you're making significantly less than the person who changes jobs every 2 to 3 years. The job market has been up and down over the years. Recently, the odds have been in your favor. And that's why I want to start with the first two, because if your bosses are smart and you're a half decent employee, most likely they want to keep you around. And it is a lot cheaper to give you a raise or give you some more hours than for them to try to find and train somebody else. That whole process of finding someone, training someone, taking a gamble on them, they might hire somebody and then they're not good. And then they have to, it's just a pain. So if you're a known quantity and they want to keep you around. But that is another option. The fifth thing that you can do to make more money is to get a second job. This could be anything from delivering pizzas, working retail. Let's say you have an office job, you're going to work retail. This is not my favorite because most of these things are not going to pay you a ton, right? Most of the things where you're able to get part-time hours are not going to be extremely beneficial, but they may be more flexible. I would even throw in like Uber, Uber
DoorDash,
Eats, Grubhub, all that kind of stuff. Technically, you're a contractor, but it's really like another job. But there's a lot of flexibility with it. Like you can just hop on the app and do the hours. Retail, restaurants, working an evening in a restaurant, there's going to be some pretty good pay there. Restaurants aren't a bad one because especially if you could find somewhere where you could work a Friday, Saturday sort of thing just on the weekends, those are going to be better nights to work anyway. So number 6 is starting a side hustle.
I was waiting for that.
You're waiting for that one?
I was waiting.
Here it is, starting a side hustle. This is where you're going to monetize a skill or a hobby that you already have. And there's a couple of things around this. Like it can be as simple as mowing lawns. It could be as simple as pressure washing, painting, any of these like relatively low barrier of entry as far as skill. Like you can teach yourself or get decent at relatively quickly. Cleaning is another good one. It's like as you can sweep the floors and wipe some stuff down, but there's a high need for those kind of services. A lot of people aren't willing to do them. And if you're willing to do them, you'll be able to find clients and make money. And in fact, if you wanted to eventually turn this into a full-time thing, if you're running your own show and this is your own business, you could probably make more than the average person in your area if you're willing to hustle. So the other thing that I really like about this is we can begin to detach our time from how much money we make. Because when we are in charge of the pricing model, instead of saying, I'm going to charge $40 an hour to clean a house, you can say, I'm going to charge $250 per cleaning. And however fast you can get it cleaned, the more efficient you get, the better, the faster you get, the more money you make. And so we can begin to detach that time and money. A side hustle could also be flipping things. Melissa, do you know anything about flipping things?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah. So Melissa has a lot of experience with eBay. My wife does Poshmark. And so if you have an eye for going to thrift stores or even stores, and you know that there's a demand for the items and that people are paying more for that item online, you can buy that thing and then flip that thing. Like for me, actually I don't have this camera. It's a different camera. I have one old camera there, but I have another one in my office that was the camera that I started with, the Pentax K1000. And you can find them at yard sales for like $20, but you can sell them for over $100 online. So if you know about those things that are like, oh, I know I can see those every once in a while, you can start flipping that kind of stuff. Another cool thing about a side hustle, in addition to being able to like detach our time from money, is this side hustle could be a budding business that we could start to build and grow and maybe even hire people for. And then the business itself can become an asset, right? That can generate income for you, that you could hire other people to run, that you could sell. And so building a business, in my opinion, is one of the fastest, most dependable, reliable ways of getting rich. Like winning the lottery is the fastest way to get rich, but the most dependable, regular way to get rich is starting a business, because you're able to become more efficient and make more money. You're able to hire people to work for you, and you're able to build this asset that is the business. And so if you're interested in kind of scaling and growing, it's not for everybody. Not everybody is a business person or business owner, but if you're like, ooh, that sounds really interesting, or you've been the type of person like me since you were 12, starting your own business and doing that sort of thing, it could be really for you. And I said start a side hustle, not start a business, because we want to start small. We want to start with the least amount of risk. We don't want to start something where you have to buy $10,000 worth of equipment, $5,000 worth of equipment, $100,000 worth of equipment. The more that you buy to get started, the more risk there is, the more stress there is, the longer it's going to take you to make money, right? And so if you can start small, make money quickly, you can borrow things. You could, hey, you don't have a pressure washer. Your dad, your brother-in-law, your father-in-law has a pressure washer. Hey, can I borrow your pressure washer? And then go knock on some doors, right? You probably have a lawnmower. If you have a lawnmower, like look around and say, hey, what are things that I'm doing that I would love somebody else to do? Somebody else in your neighborhood and friend group would love to hire you to do that. So Now, finally, I'm going to kind of go back to the beginning where we started, where we're looking at things not to do. So number 7 is things to be wary of. And one would be like, you'll hear people, if you spend any time on TikTok or Reels, like looking for ways to make money, and whatever happens on these platforms, you see one and you watch it, and now you're going to see them all day long. Short-term rentals is going to come up. You should buy a property and start an Airbnb. I'm not downing that as a good way, but to make money, right? Like, and there is potential, but there's a lot of risk. And so in some areas, for instance, well, one, whenever there's debt involved. So if you don't have cash to buy these properties, you're taking a risk, number one. Number two, in some of these areas, like people buy tons of properties, they're doing all these short-term rentals, and then the local governments put restrictions in place that don't let you use them as short-term rentals. So now you have all these properties that you're not making it. Now, there's ways to adapt. But there's also really easy ways to go bankrupt in there. So be wary of those sorts of things and be really, really careful. As I'm looking at increasing my income, the first places I'm looking at are some relatively low risk ways. High risk, high reward. So the ways that I'm talking about are going to be making money slower, but you're not going to go bankrupt doing it, right? Number 2, 7.2 is drop shipping. Can you make money drop shipping? Yes. Will you probably make money drop shipping? Probably not. It's right in there with MLMs. And really the people who are selling you on drop shipping are selling how to teach you how to do drop shipping. They're making their money from selling you a course on teaching you to do drop shipping. So please disregard that. If you want to dabble in it and learn for yourself and watch it maybe as a hobby, but like don't invest lots of money into this thing in the system. If you already have some marketing skills, there are legitimate ways to make money. I'm not disregarding any of these ways. I just say be wary, be cautious, be careful. The last one, 7.3, is anything with a large startup cost, which we've already talked about. Like the more cost that's involved, the more risk. That's what I recommend. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have any tips of jobs, side gigs, ways that you have increased your income, please comment below and share with all of us so we can learn from you too. All right, have a good one. Bye.